Hello intermediates, time for our book club story, and today we're speaking a little bit about independence. Do you like doing things by yourself? Well, we all do. As we grow, from when we're small, we start feeding ourselves, we start clothing ourselves, we start going to the bathroom by ourselves. So the more we grow, the more things we learn, and the more we want to do it by ourselves, to the point that sometimes it's actually annoying when somebody tries to help us. But we need to learn that a little help goes a long way sometimes. But I want to know, how about a person with a disability? Say for instance, a blind person. Can a blind person do the normal activities that other people can? Can they, say, brush their teeth? Can they walk or run? Can they skip using a skipping rope? Can blind people use a computer? Well, yes, because the technology is actually in place for them. They can use their hearing, they can actually interact on the computers. What about reading? Can blind people read? Well, yes, they can. There's a system called Braille that they can use. It is a code that is raised dots on the paper, and they use their fingers to feel the dots, and then they can read. It is not a language by itself. Braille is rather a code that can be applied to any language. So even if you speak a different language like Spanish or Italian, you can still learn Braille and you can learn to read it. Braille is called after the person who invented it, Louis Braille. Now Louis, when he was small, he, like any other child, went with his dad to go to work. His father was a saddle maker. He made saddles for horses, and little Louis was allowed to help. So one day when he was only 3 years old, the awl that he used, which is a sharp tool used to make holes in the leather, slipped and it hit him in the eye. His eye became infected and it soon spread to the other eye, and he was blind in both eyes. When he was 15 years old, he invented the Braille code. That was in 1824, and it is almost 200 years later, and that code is still in use today. Now, Louis grew up to be a teacher, but he unfortunately died when he was only 43 years old, after he had suffered of what is now believed to have been tuberculosis, that he suffered for 16 years. Our story today is a true life story about a boy named David Dinotaris. Now David was born with a very, very rare eye condition called retinitis pigmentosa, which is when the eyes gradually lose their vision over time. And by the time he was 19 years old, David was completely blind. Now this book, Keep Your Ear on the Ball, is based on experiences of the author, Genevieve Petrello, when David was in her 4th grade class. Let's read it together. Davy looked like every other new kid that ever came to class. Mrs. Madison walked him in and said, "Boys and girls, this is Davy." He was medium height, he had medium brown hair and medium brown eyes. A regular kid. Davy looked up at Mrs. Madison. "Mind if I look around?" "Let me show you to your seat first," she said. She walked him to a desk in the first row, right next to me. Davy dropped his book bag on his desk and walked back to the door. We all watched as he touched the door frame and the teacher's desk. Then he walked along the bookshelf that went to the back of the room. He ran his hand over the writer's center, touched the coat room doors, the fishbowl, and the library shelf. He followed the front blackboard till he got to his row, and sat in his seat, moving his book bag to the floor under his desk. He turned to me and said, "It's awfully quiet. Is everybody staring? I'm blind. I'm not an alien." That was how we met Davy. Davy did everything we did. When we read our books, he read his Braille books. When we wrote, he wrote on his Braille writer. He was a great listener and raised his hand a lot to answer questions. "I'm Peter," I said, lining up behind him for lunch. "Want to hold onto my hand on the way to the cafeteria?" "Thanks, but no thanks," he said. He followed the line and somehow found a seat at our lunch table. In the cafeteria, everybody wanted to help Davy. "Let me open that," Susan said. "Want me to throw away your garbage?" Amanda asked. "Should I get you a straw?" Megan offered. Davy said, "Thanks, but no thanks," at least 100 times. After lunch, Davy came outside with our class to the kickball field. He stood with the rest of the kids as Colin and I chose teams. He was the first one I picked. "I'll take Davy," I said. After we finished choosing up sides, Davy went out into the field and stayed out of everybody's way. When it was his turn to kick, Davy missed the pitch 1,000,000 times, and some kids started complaining that he was taking too long. Amanda said, "Davy, do you want me to tell you when to kick?" "Thanks, but no thanks," Davy said. He finally kicked a foul, but he ran toward first base anyway, knocking William down along the way and missing first base by a mile. Colin took William to the nurse. After that, the game fizzled out. As we walked into our classroom, I asked, "Do you want me to put your lunchbox away, Davy?" "Thanks, but no thanks," Davy said. Little by little, we all stopped asking Davy if he needed help. We were tired of hearing "thanks, but no thanks." Most of the time he was fine on his own. Watching him walk around the classroom and through the hallways, it almost seemed like he could see. He sang with us in music class and he made projects with us in art. But on the playground, it was a different story. "Can I kick for you, Davy?" Jason asked, after watching Davy miss his first 10 kicks. "Thanks, but no thanks," Davy said. "I can hold your hand when you run," Amanda suggested. "Thanks, but no thanks." After a while, neither captain wanted Davy on his or her team. "You take him," Daniel whispered as Davy stood on the sidelines. "I had him yesterday," Amanda whispered back. "You take him." Davy settled it. "I'm blind. I'm not deaf," he said. He stormed across the playground and sat on the steps near the door. "Now look what you did," Amanda said. "You mean." "Why won't he let us help him?" Colin said. "He can't see the ball, he can't see the bases, and he won't let us do anything for him." "I told him I would kick for him," Jason said. "I offered to hold his hand and run with him," Amanda said. "Wait a minute, guys," I said. "That's it. He doesn't want us to do things for him. He wants to be able to do things for himself." "He can't see," Colin said. "How can he play kickball? How can he do anything?" "He hears and he feels," I said. "He does everything by sound and touch. I have an idea." The next day we ate lunch fast, eager to get outside. Colin picked Davy first on his team. When Davy got up to kick, we were ready. Amanda blew a whistle. Everybody stopped talking and stood still. Before I pitched, I called, "Here it comes, Davy! Keep your ear on the ball!" I bounced the pitch, and in the silence we could clearly hear what Davy heard as the ball headed his way. We all wanted to yell when he kicked it, but we didn't. William was standing behind first base. "First base, Davy!" he called. "First base! First base!" Davy ran straight towards his voice, and he knew from the sound when to stop. When Davy was safe at first, William moved to the second base, and we all yelled and cheered like we just won the World Series, till Amanda blew the whistle. Davy made it to third base before he was tagged out heading home. He joined his team with a smile. "I'll do better next time," he said. "Next time I'm going all the way." "Do you want to wear the whistle, Davy?" Amanda asked. "You can blow it whenever you need to keep your ear on the ball." "Thanks, but..." Davy began. "Thanks, Amanda. Thanks." So now I have a question. Are we all exactly the same? No, we're not. But there are similarities. We all get hungry and we need to eat. We all get tired, we need to sleep. We all need love and care. But now what about people with a disability? Are they really all that different? Not that much, because they also get hungry and they need to eat. They also get tired and they need to sleep. They also need love and care. They also have dreams and desires that they need to fulfill. Sometimes they just need a little bit more care in a certain area to help them do this exact same thing as others do. But that is no reason to exclude them. They also have the same interests as other people do, and they have the same feelings. But sometimes they are misunderstood and they are treated as if they are incapable. Everybody has positive qualities and strengths. Sometimes we just need to learn a little bit of patience. Let me ask you, how was Davy the same as everybody else in his class? How was he different? What did he do to familiarize himself with his surroundings? Have you ever met somebody with a disability? How did you feel? Did you maybe feel a little bit nervous, or you didn't know what to say to that person? You didn't know how to handle that person? Let me tell you, it's okay to ask somebody about their disability, but it's also okay for them not to want to speak about it. Let me tell you, a disability is not a contagious disease. You can't catch it by having contact with somebody who's got a disability. A disability is also not a punishment. It doesn't mean that the person was bad, and the disability also doesn't necessarily make that person a bad person. And another thing, people with a disability don't need care all the time. They can live quite independent lives and productive lives. It is other people who need to learn some patience sometimes. The golden rule applies. You treat them the same as you would like other people to treat you. Well, let me wrap up. David de Notaras grew up and he got married. He has 3 children. He is a radio announcer. He is a nationwide motivational speaker. And he is a worldwide champion athlete. And he leaves us with some motivation on how to live a successful life. I'll let him tell you himself. Until next time.
I guarantee if you do some of these things that your life's going to get better. You ready? Read or listen to something positive. Oh, Dave, I don't have time to do that. I get up and I watch the news and I drink my coffee and I get discouraged and aggravated and I go and I look at Facebook. Well, listen, I think it's crucial we read or listen to something encouraging each and every day. Fill your mind with mental protein, not mental candy. Spend your time with encouraging people. Read or listen to something positive. Number 2, exercise. We know that our feelings aren't facts, and action changes our attitudes. Emotions will change our moods, and motions will change our emotions. Things in motion stay in motion. Things at rest stay at rest unless acted upon by a greater force. I hope and pray that these videos are a greater force that will encourage you to start something great or stop something that's not healthy. Number 3, eat something healthy. Eat something healthy in the morning. Let's start in the morning. We'll eat something healthy. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. We can eat something healthy and follow suit the rest of the day. Help someone. Here, number 4, help someone. I truly believe that life is an echo. We get what we give. Helping others, and others will want to help us. Do something positive you've been putting off. Maybe it's something you've wanted to start or something you've been wanting to stop. But do something positive for you. I can't do your push-ups for you, but I can remind you that self-control and self-discipline and self-motivation will make your day and everyone's around you a whole lot better.